My dear students, in this class, let us learn general characters of chordates and their classification. Animal kingdom is divided into two categories based on the presence of notochord or vertebral column. The animals which lack notochord or vertebral column are called non-chordates, and the animals that contain notochord or vertebral column are called chordates. The term chordata was coined by Balfour, and there are four significant characteristic features of chordates. That is dorsal notochord, dorsal nerve cord, pharyngeal gill slits, and post-anal tail. These four characters, namely dorsal notochord, dorsal nerve cord, pharyngeal gill slits, and post-anal tail, should be seen either throughout the life of the chordates or at least in one of the life stages. And biggest chordate is Balanoptera musculus. This is commonly called blue whale, and it contains baleen teeth which are comb-like, and this Balanoptera musculus is a filter feeder. The heart of the Balanoptera musculus is of the size of Maruti car, and whales are filter feeders or ciliary feeders. And coming to the next slide, whales exhibit echolocation. That means they release ultrasounds and they can perceive the ultrasounds in their path. If they are reflected back, they can listen. As a result, they can estimate the presence of obstacles or hindrances. And coming to the first character of chordates, chordates contain notochord. Notochord is nothing but a dorsal rod-like structure which is elastic, and it is also called chorda dorsalis. It contains fibrous and elastic layers. It arises from mesoderm. That means notochord is mesodermal in origin. Cells present in notochord are called vacuolated cells. So that means this notochord, which is mesodermal in origin, it contains certain cells called vacuolated cells inside, and these are surrounded by fibrous layer and elastic layer. That means notochord is elastic in nature. In some chordates, the notochord is confined only to the tail region, and such chordates are called urochordates. And there are some chordates where notochord is extended even into the head region, and such chordates are called cephalochordates. And the chordates in which notochord is replaced by vertebral column are called vertebrates. Especially in mammals, there is evidence to say that the notochord has given rise to the vertebral column, because in case of mammals, the intervertebral disc contains certain structures called nuclei pulposi. This is a jelly-like substance that is present in the intervertebral discs of mammals. And this nuclei pulposi is the remnant of notochord. So this is an evidence to say that the notochord might have given rise to the vertebral column in case of higher vertebrates. And here you can see the entire picture of blue whale. And this is a typical diagram of chordates. In this diagram, you can see the presence of notochord, dorsal hollow nerve cord, post-anal tail, and pharyngeal gill slits. And we have already seen the characteristic feature of notochord. Coming to the nerve cord is differentiated into anterior brain and a posterior spinal cord. And these two structures, namely brain and spinal cord, are surrounded by one fluid that is called cerebrospinal fluid. And nerve cord is ectodermal in origin. And here you can see the pharyngeal gill slits. I told that notochord is mesodermal in origin and the nerve cord is ectodermal in origin, whereas the gill slits arise from invaginations of ectoderm and evaginations of endoderm. So we can say that gill slits are ectoendodermal in origin because they are formed due to the invaginations of ectoderm and evaginations of endoderm. And these pharyngeal gill slits are responsible for only aquatic respirations, and they are seen only in aquatic organisms. In case of terrestrial vertebrates, these pharyngeal gill slits have become dysfunctional or defunct, and they are replaced by the lungs. Because terrestrial organisms cannot respire the oxygen that is dissolved in the air with the help of gills, they have shifted to the lungs. So, thus, terrestrial vertebrates exhibit pulmonary respiration. And there is post-anal tail in chordates. At least this tail should be found as a bud in the embryonic conditions, which is used as balancing organ, and it is also used as either organ of offense or organ of defense in some vertebrates. And coming to the other characters, all these four characters, these are very specific, namely notochord, nerve cord, pharyngeal gill slits, and post-anal tail. Coming to the other characters, chordates exhibit bilateral symmetry, of course. Bilateral symmetry is the symmetry where two antimirrors or two mirror images are formed when the animal is cut along oroanal axis or longitudinal axis. Internal metamerism is found in the arrangement of ribs, vertebrae, and muscles. 2 to 4 chambered heart is found in chordates. In fishes, 2 chambered heart is found, and in amphibians, 3 chambered heart is found, and in case of reptiles, incompletely divided 4 chambered heart is found, and completely divided 4 chambered heart is found in case of birds and mammals. And hepatic and renal portal systems are found in chordates. And coelom, coming to the coelom arises from the pouches of orchenteron. We know that orchenteron is the primitive gut that is found in the embryonic conditions, and it undergoes some sort of modification. It releases or it develops some sort of pouches, and these pouches constitute the coelom. That means if the coelom arises from the orchenteron, such a coelom is called enterocoelom, and it is also known as secondarily cytosolic coelom. And there is one more important aspect, that is the muscle phosphogen that is present in the chordates. The muscle phosphogen that is present in the chordates is creatine phosphate, and this creatine phosphate is responsible for rejuvenating ATP or regenerating ATP in case of all chordates. Whereas in case of invertebrates, of course, there is one more muscle phosphogen that is called creatine arginase. So creatine arginase is found in case of invertebrates, and creatine phosphate is found in case of chordates. And coming to the classification, the chordates are classified into urochordata, cephalochordata, and vertebrata. Urochordates are those chordates where the notochord is confined only to the tail region, and these urochordates are commonly called sea potatoes. They look like this, of course, and they contain one structure, peculiar structure called endostyle, which is the forerunner of vertebrate thyroid gland. And all these urochordates exhibit retrogressive metamorphosis. And example of urochordates is Herdmania, Pyrosoma, Doliolum sulfa. And Pyrosoma is the urochordate that exhibits bioluminescence. And the respiratory pigment in case of urochordate is vanadium, of course. And urochordates are surrounded by one structure, hard structure called test, which is made up of one material called tunicin, and this tunicin is similar to cellulose of plants. And coming to the cephalochordata, cephalochordates are those chordates where notochord is extended even into the head region. And the excretory organs in case of cephalochordata are solenocytes. This is a very important need bit or PGZ bit. So solenocytes are the excretory structures that are found in cephalochordata. And in cephalochordata, closed blood vascular system is found. And the best example for cephalochordates is Amphioxus, and it is also called branchiostoma, and all cephalochordates are called lancelets, and the cephalochordates are typical chordates. And coming to the vertebrata, as I already told, in vertebrata the notochord is replaced by vertebral column, and they also contain cranium, hence vertebrates are also called craniates. And based on the presence of jaws, vertebrata is again classified. So here you can see the different characteristic features of urochordates. I already mentioned all these characters. In case of urochordata, the body is covered by test, which is made up of tunicin, hence these are called tunicates. And the test is made up of tunicin, that is akin or that is related or that is similar to cellulose. Vanadium is the respiratory pigment. Heart functions alternately as systemic and pulmonary heart in case of urochordates. Endostyle is useful for filter feeding, and this endostyle is the forerunner of vertebrate thyroid gland. And urochordates exhibit retrogressive metamorphosis, and ascidians are commonly called sea squats. Coming to the next slide, cephalochordates, these are also called lancelets. Amphioxus is the best example. Solenocytes are the excretory structures. And of course, Urochordates are divided into Acidiaceae, Larvaceae, and Thalliaceae. Vertebrata. Based on the presence of jaws, vertebrates are classified into Anatha and Gnathostomata. Anatha are characterized by the absence of jaws, whereas Gnathostomata is characterized by the presence of jaws. Under Anatha, there are two categories, namely Astrocodermy and Cyclostomes. Astrocodermy are called jawless fishes. Cyclostomes are living Anathans. Petromyzon is the best example. Petromyzon is also called lamprey. This exhibits anadromous migration. Myxin is called hagfish. So this is Petromyzon and this is Myxin. And coming to the Gnathostomata, which are characterized by the presence of jaws, Gnathostomata is classified as Pisces, represented by fishes, amphibians, represented by frogs and toads, reptiles, represented by snakes, tortoises, turtles, crocodiles, aves, represented by birds, and mammals, represented by human beings. And fishes, amphibians, and reptiles are cold-blooded vertebrates. Fishes, amphibians, and reptiles are cold-blooded vertebrates. That means these are ectotherms. That means these are poikilothermous in nature. Whereas aves and mammals, because aves contain feathers and mammals contain hair, these are homeotherms. That means these are endotherms. And based on the presence of amnion, amnion is an extra embryonic membrane. If amnion is present, that is called amniote, and if amnion is absent, that organism is called anamniote. Fishes and amphibians are anamniotes, whereas reptiles, aves, and mammals are amniotes, because in reptiles, for the first time, amnion is found. So, from reptiles onwards, reptiles, aves, and mammals, they are called amniotes because of the presence of amnion. So, that is about the general characteristics and classification of chordates. Fishes and amphibians are collectively called Ichthyopsida, whereas reptiles and aves are collectively called Sauropsida. So, remaining points I made it already clear. Reptiles, aves, and mammals are called amniotes. Fishes and amphibia and reptiles are cold-blooded. Aves and mammals are warm-blooded. So, that is about today's topic. Thank you very much.